It's me, Ginny Metheral. I'm a 4th generation witch who practices the old ways, which is traditional witchcraft, as taught to me by my family, by my mother, by varying other people who I have met throughout my life, and by my own research in reading ancient texts and books. Now today's video is my first one for the new year in 2021, which is very exciting, and it is of course part of my Almanac series, looking at witchcraft throughout each month, and this month of course is January. So what I want to do is run through the days in January and which days are the best to cast which spells, so that you can practice your traditional witchcraft throughout each day of this month. So this month is of course the cold January, or as the Romany people, the gypsies, call it, the month of snows. It is a particularly trying month. The rain is still quite virulent, there's quite a lot of snow, mud, it's dark, it's cold. It's a difficult month with the rain, the mud and the dark. Which is why we celebrate the 1st of January. Well, it's not quite why we celebrate the 1st of January, but 1st of January is of course the new year. And my mother insisted, and my grandmother insisted, that the first person to cross your threshold on the new year should be a tall, dark, handsome man bearing gifts of sugar, coal and salt. These all represent, of course, the sugar is the sweet things in life, the coal is for your hearth and home and fire and heat and warmth, the handsome man, well that's obvious, and the salt is for the spice of life. Gives everything a little more flavour, doesn't it? This is very similar to the Scottish first footing or Hogmanay ritual that they have, where a tall, dark, handsome man crosses your threshold carrying salt, cake and whiskey. I'm not sure I don't prefer the Scottish version actually, a bit of whiskey. No, I like my mother's, that's one we do. This first footing is a really old ritual. It's been done by pretty much everyone again, so there's obviously something in it. So I quite like my tall, dark, handsome man to walk through my door over my threshold carrying a wand and some crystals. You can have them carry whatever you want, what is particular to your craft. It might be a branch of greenery, it might be some dried herbs, it could be some candles, it could be whatever you're really drawn to. I think I'm going to give him my pendulum and some cards, because I divine with my pendulum and cards, and I enjoy that part of my craft, and I'm quite good at it. So let's hope it carries on for the rest of the year. The 1st of January should also be greeted with the words white rabbits. Now I have no idea why white rabbits should be said on the 1st of each month, but apparently it brings prosperity and luck for the rest of the month, so why not? White rabbits have been associated with luck. Think of the rabbit's foot that people used to carry as a charm, so I don't know, maybe it comes from that. Well, I'm going to do it, so white rabbits to you. Now the 2nd of January is also quite a big day in this month, because it is the Perihelion, which is when the Earth and the Sun are at their closest point throughout the whole year. It is also the time when the moon has pulled the tides into the biggest spring tide, the most extreme tide of the month on the 2nd. This is the sun and the moon working together, so there's a lot of astronomical influence going on between these two great orbs in our lives. So I want to give you a spell which celebrates the working of the sun and moon together that you can do on the 2nd. These are the ingredients you're going to need: a selection of your favourite crystals. The wand, this is mine, I know, a bit odd, piece of glass stone. Some candles that represent the sun. I've got 3, but you can use more or less, however many you feel. A bowl and some moon water, and I made this moon water on the last full moon of the 29th, 30th of December. I'm using a mirrored plate to mark my circle, only because I find it useful. And I'm going to mark the circle with those crystals, marking each of the points. So this is for north. I'm using a piece of jade for the south. The west is a piece of labradorite that I particularly like. And the east is some lovely rose quartz wrapped in copper. And then I'm going to place a couple more just around the edges, wherever I feel. This forms the basis of a right small circle using my favourite crystals. Next I take my wand and I cast the circle, saying, let all that may happen within this circle be to the greatest and highest good of all concerned. Once your circle is cast, place your candles around the outer edge of the circle to ensure that the sun is represented within this spell. Now your bowl goes in the middle, and into the bowl I want you to pour your moon water. And this moon water is my last fresh batch actually. Now we're going to ask the sun to bless this moon water and infuse it with her energy. Moon has already blessed this water, so we are now just bringing the two together. This water can now be used across your threshold or on your friends and family. The 3rd and 4th of January is the time of year when the yearly I can't pronounce this word, Quadrantids Meteor shower reaches its peak. Now this is one of the biggest showers of the year, but because it's in January, nobody ever goes out and looks at it. You know, there could be up to 120 shooting stars happening at this time per hour. Well, it's a lot, and they have big fireballs of shooting stars, so they're really dramatic. I mean, the forecast is not great because the moon's quite bright and there's quite a lot of cloud also going on, but should you go outside on the 3rd or the 4th of January, you will see not only the Quadrantids, but also Mars is shining as bright as it will throughout the year now. So this is a beautiful time to go and do a bit of stargazing. And what do you see when you look at a star? You obviously make a wish. If you see that shooting star, that amazing fireball coming for you, make sure you've got your wish handy. This conjunction of the Quadrantids and Mars being at its brightest is a really propitious time of year. And I think making a wish upon a shooting star will work well. Now these early days in January is when the humpback whale migration passes the UK coast, and they're often found in the Firth of Forth resting up and restoring their energy before they carry on. This means that the waters around the UK at the moment are singing and humming with the music of the whales. The humpback whales are encouraging us with their music around our shores at this time to make our own music. And as a musician myself, I know that music has its own special magic. It can make you laugh, it can make you cry, it can bring forth all the emotions of the world in just a few notes. Just put on a couple of records maybe and dedicate them to the music of the world. The world at the moment is vibrating, especially around the UK, with the song of the whale. So, get to the 6th of January. 6th of January is Twelfth Night, the Epiphany in the Christian faith, which means a clarity and understanding. Epiphany celebrates the visit of the Magi to the Christ child. And in France, they do something called a galette du roi, which is a cake of kings. Now, this is quite a special cake, and I thought it'd be a rather good idea if we changed it slightly. Now, the galette du roi is a cake which is baked with a tiny figurine inside it and decorated with a crown. And when they eat the cake, whoever finds the little figurine is crowned as king or queen for the day. Now, this is obviously the most pagan of spells on the Epiphany. The 6th is quite a big day in a lot of people's cultures. It's the day for wassailing, it's the day for Epiphany, it's the day for the French to make the galette du roi, and it's the end of the 12 days of Christmas. So it then occurred that why don't we use this galette du roi cake and put our little witchy spin on it? I don't know if any of you remember the Whimsy Wade figurines from the 1980s, which I used to collect as a child. I thought they were lovely. This black cat could be baked into a cake, and then whoever gets the black cat gets to make a witchy wish. I think that's a great thing to do for a birthday. Now the 6th is, of course, Twelfth Night, and also, as I mentioned, a wassail time of year. Now what is wassailing? This is where you go out and you beat the trees with a stick. Different areas have different customs, but in Somerset and Devon, it's very much drinking a lot of rough cider and taking it round the village while singing your song. And you pour cider, you get quite pissed drinking a lot of cider, the really scrumpy, unsweetened stuff, proper Devon cider this is, and you ask the trees for a bountiful harvest for the years to come. Cider wassailing is always good fun. If you do have a fruit tree, why not do that? Why not take your cider, pour it over your fruit tree, and ask the tree to give you a good harvest in this year. 13th of Jan is the night of the new moon. Now, the new moon is in Capricorn, and Capricorn is all about planning and focusing and career and ambition. And so it's a really good time to just take a stock look at your job and your career and write down your goals and desires, I suppose, your goals and ambitions for the coming year. What would you like to happen to you within your workplace in the year 2021? It's a really great time on the 13th of Jan, with the moon being in Capricorn, to do a work and ambition and career orientated spell. And so here is mine. Using green pens, write down the desires and ambitions that you have for your career in the coming year. Be very clear. Fuzzy ideas get fuzzy results. Place the piece of paper underneath your pillow for the night of the new moon and sleep upon it. Your dreams will set this spell. Now the full moon in January falls on the 28th, which is obviously at the end of the month. This full moon was known by the Native American Indian tribes as the wolf moon. European culture hasn't really associated each moon with a name. However, we do have a harvest moon and a hunter's moon, but the rest of the names are a North American Indian tradition, and different tribes would have different names, but in general, most of the tribes called the January moon the wolf moon because of the howling of the wolves at this time of year. So I thought, what better way to celebrate this lovely old-fashioned tradition than to create some wolf water in the night of the full moon to sprinkle over those wolves in your house. Take a bowl and place spring water in it on the windowsill to be bathed by the moonlight on the night of the full moon. And then in the morning you can take the water and sprinkle it, blessing your four-legged friends with the moon's energy and love. So there's a lot to do in January, and I hope I've given you some ideas about how to practice the old ways throughout this month. Do let me know in the comments below if you're going to do the wolf moon water spell and who you're sprinkling it on. I'd love to hear about your four-legged friends. You could do it as a cat spell. So if you don't have a dog, you don't want a cat, or even a hamster. I don't think it really matters. It's just sort of a blessing, isn't it? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please do give me a thumbs up and a subscribe. And I will see you in my next one.